Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Isabel Maria, and before we start today's video, I just want to say a super quick thank you to everybody who watched my last video, who subscribed, who commented. It was my first video on the channel and I never expected that I was going to get as many of you following me so quickly. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for tuning in. For those of you that haven't watched it yet, it is just a day in my life. I basically just walk you through all of the things that I do on a typical day in Belgrade, Serbia. So if you haven't checked it out already, make sure to do so. And if you haven't already subscribed, then make sure to click the subscribe button for weekly content all about my life here in Belgrade, Serbia. So I've had a good amount of people messaging me, asking me about the differences between Canada and Serbia, and asking if I can do kind of a comparison video. So that is exactly what we are going to do today. As I'm sure you can imagine, based off where I'm currently living, I obviously am leaning towards enjoying Serbia more than Canada right now. But as with anything, there are bonuses to living in both countries. So I'm basically just going to break that down and talk about all of the different areas of each country, which one I like more, and the reasons why I have my preferences. Okay, so starting off the video today, we are going to talk about culture. So Canada, of course, is only about 146 years old, if I have that right, whereas Serbia has only been Serbia since 2006, but it has been civilized since the 6th century. So 15 centuries, 150 years. Wait, 15, I'm not great at math. 1,500 years versus 146 years. So obviously, like, Canada doesn't really have culture in comparison to Serbia, you know. Canada's culture is kind of just like hockey and like drinking beer, like beavers and maple syrup, you know, which, like, don't get me wrong, as a Canadian, I absolutely love, like, I love the whole like going for a rib bud kind of mentality. No hate, no shade at all. Like, I will always love my Canadian homies. But to be somewhere where there actually is culture, where you can walk around and you can see old buildings like castles, forts, just like beautiful structures, is something that I really enjoy. And I feel like, kind of temperament wise and culture wise, in terms of how people kind of choose to align their lives, is a little bit different as well. In terms of, people in Canada kind of live to work. Everybody's just about their bag, everybody's just hustling, which I absolutely love. Like, get it, get after your dreams, make your money, you know. But I feel like there is kind of a little bit of an unbalance between work and play there. People are so focused on work that they don't necessarily make enough time for themselves to play and to connect with themselves and with others. Whereas in Belgrade, it's very much so the opposite. I feel like people here really work to live, and they work enough to sustain themselves in order to have like a really abundant social life and to have the space to connect with other people and themselves and go out and do things just for themselves to enjoy. And so I really love that. I love the fact that I can be sitting at a coffee shop just doing my work, and all of a sudden, like, a cute little babushka, like a grandma, comes along and sits down, and then another one and another one and another one, and before you know it, there's like 10 old ladies just sitting together, just drinking coffee on a Tuesday in the middle of the day, just connecting with each other. And all of my friends here, I see way more than any of the friends that I ever made in Canada, because people are just very centered around connecting with one another. So that, for me, I absolutely love. I feel like that's a lot more in alignment with my values, and so I'm really happy to be somewhere that does put so much of an emphasis on connecting with other people. All right, next on this list is going to be values. So, Serbia is definitely a lot more conservative culture than in the West. A lot of people here are Christian, and if they don't go to church regularly, they're all right with saying that they are believers in God and they are believers in Christianity, which for me personally, I am not Christian, but I do really enjoy being surrounded by people of faith. That is something that feels really nice for me. It's not unusual for people to celebrate the holidays. Like I know that yesterday there was a holiday that was going on here that I can't remember the name of, forgive me. But I was walking through Kalamegdan and there was literally hundreds of people in line to go to church to worship. And everybody, I put something in my story asking what was going on, and I had so many people getting back to me. And a lot of people were going to visit their family yesterday and celebrate the holidays with them, which I think is so sweet. Like, it's nice to have kind of that like glue that holds a society together and that brings people together like that. I think it's really sweet. And just in general, I feel as though people are a lot more family oriented here. People take a lot of time to connect with their family. They're very close with them. They spend a lot of time with them. And having a close-knit family is very important to Serbians, I feel. And people here are also a lot more like modest in how they dress, and they dress up a lot more as well. So like you're not going to see the classic people like going to Walmart in like literally pajamas and Crocs, you know, like that would never happen in Serbia. People, even on regular days, are just like a little bit more dressed up, a little bit more conservative, which for me, I absolutely love because I'm always looking for any excuse to get a little bit more cute. So that for me works out really well. And yeah, I just like a more conservative society personally. Like, I love dating here because not every single guy is like looking for an open relationship, you know? People are actually down to have like the traditional monogamous kind of life and lifestyle here. And that for me definitely speaks to me a lot more. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for me personally, that is a lot more in alignment with myself. So that I really love. Next on the list is going to be costs of living. So as a general rule of thumb, I would say that everything in Serbia is about half as expensive as Canada. Groceries are crazy cheap. Cup of coffee is about half as expensive. It's half as expensive, if not less, to go out to eat somewhere. Rent is at least half as expensive as in Canada. The only thing that is on par with Canada in terms of expenses is that if you want to buy something name brand, like if you want to go like Nike, Adidas, something like that, it's going to be just as expensive, if not a little bit more. Same with places like Sephora and stuff like that. So if you're going to get your name brands, there isn't going to be a big difference there, which is so unfortunate because I would love to be able to go shopping here for half as much money. That would definitely make my day. I would love it. The other notable thing to say on this topic is that there aren't necessarily the same creature comforts as in Canada. There are some things that I love buying in Canada that I have not been able to find here. And Serbia is also kind of, oh, I can't think of the word. It's a little bit of a dead zone in terms of shipping. You can order stuff online here, but the chances of it making it here is not great. And if it does, it's probably going to be really, really expensive getting over the border. So online shopping isn't really a thing here, which makes me sad, but at the same time is probably good because I can sometimes get a little bit carried away. So it's bad, but in the long run, it's probably a good thing. So cost of living, general rule of thumb, half as expensive, which for me is great. Trying to make it as an entrepreneur, I need to live somewhere that's a little bit less expensive. I could never try and do the work that I am trying to do in Canada because I would just run out of money. I have to give some credit to Canada for something. So the next on this list is going to be geography. And honestly, I love Serbia. It's really beautiful, but geographically, Canada's fucking beautiful. British Columbia is one of the most gorgeous places in the world. You really can't beat those mountains and the lakes and just the wide open wilderness. It's really, really stunning. Serbia, I will say I haven't had the opportunity to check everything out, so I'm sure that there's a few hidden gems here that I have yet to discover. And I will say that recently when I was going on a road trip to Vershats, that as I was driving through the countryside, it really reminded me of Alberta, which is the province in Canada where I'm from. It was just really wide open fields, tons of fields of sunflowers and corn and stuff like that, which is what I'm used to. I was born and raised in the prairies. And a lot of the time when I look around here, I do feel like it looks a lot like Edmonton, Alberta, where I was born, which is beautiful. Serbia is a beautiful country, but Canada is just, it's on a level of its own. Vancouver, which is the city I was living in before I moved here, is one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's just hidden wonder on a hidden wonder of beautiful places to hike and check out. So I'm sorry, Serbia, but Canada's got you beat on this one. And now, of course, the people. So I'm going to start with the men. The men here, I find personally, are much more for me. They're much more in the masculine role. They're caretakers. I haven't heard any guy that's been like 50-50 on dates or anything like that. They're very much so in the role of being the caretakers, being chivalrous, being gentlemen. I, of course, have had, like, honestly, only one weird interaction that I can think of. Other than that, every guy here has been super wonderful. And I personally just love Serbian men. So for me, Serbian men have Canadian men definitely beat. I never had any luck finding high quality men in Canada personally, so I'm very happy to be dating in Serbia. And for the women, I absolutely love the women. They are so lovely, take such good care of me, really work to make me feel super welcome here. Whenever I meet girls, they're always getting my Instagram and hitting me up asking to go for coffee and to hang out, offering to support me in any way that I need because they know that I'm a foreigner here, which is so nice. I felt really lonely a lot of the time when I was in Canada. I have one good friend back in Vancouver named Allison that I miss wholeheartedly. I would love to see her. And past that, there's not a single person in Vancouver that I'm dying to go and hang out with because the connections that I made were very surface level and never got very deep. People kind of stick to themselves there. So I absolutely love Serbians. I feel really grateful to be here and to be so well taken care of. And last on this list is just going to be overall happiness. I can't really put all of this on Serbia versus Canada because it is kind of a situational thing. But for me personally, I am so much happier in Serbia.
And finally, 12 points to Serbia.
Like, it's absolutely night and day. Everything here has just been working out really well for me. Like I said, I can't necessarily say if it's just the country or just Belgrade itself that has got me feeling this way. It could be a plethora of other things, but my life feels very well balanced, very happy. I feel as though, other than online shopping, I do have everything that I need here and more, and I feel abundant in every single way. So I feel really grateful to be living here, and I cannot say enough great things about this country. So if you've never been to Serbia, if you're watching this video because you kind of want to get the lowdown a little bit, I say 10 out of 10 recommend. Definitely come and check it out. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so that you can see my weekly adventures here in Belgrade and the surrounding areas. And until next time, it was so lovely connecting with all of you, and take care.